Wow. Singer-songwriter Ingrid Michaelson. Actress, entrepreneur. I'm here with my friend Ingrid Michaelson. How you doing, buddy?
Good.
We've never done anything together.
That's not true.
Professionally?
We did Equus in college.
Ingrid and I went to SUNY Binghamton together, and we were in theater together when we were 19.
19?
Yeah.
I don't know.
18 and 19. Just a few years after this show that we're talking about, My So-Called Life.
Oh, yes.
Went
Good
off the
segue.
air. I'm pretty good. I'm a podcaster,
You're a
so
podcaster.
you've never seen me
I
in my
can
element.
tell.
But so Ingrid, something that I have not talked about on the podcast at all is the fact that you and I were going to do this podcast.
Oh, we're going to talk about that.
Yeah.
We were, and then Kristin
I dumped her.
dumped me.
Well, I was nervous about a permanent working relationship because I needed you for my emotional support.
And I feel that.
Right.
And I can see this is actually a lot of work. So I'm like, maybe it was all for the best. But I do love the show. And I think that's why it was very exciting for me at first because, you know, this was like my childhood. And I wanted to be her so badly. Angela. So I dyed my hair with, do you remember, well, it was Manic Panic. But I think there was also like Glints. There was this other company called Glints.
Like with a Z?
I don't remember, but it was, washed out after a few washes, and I was just obsessed with making my hair red. And my hair was red forever.
Because I
feel like it was because of Angela's hair.
Yeah, there's a lot of people who have written in to say that like their hair was red because of Angela's. Mine, was blonde. I had a blonde streak because of Rayanne. Do you feel so? Okay, so I wanted to be Rayanne because I was an Angela.
Oh,
like I was very much. Do you think that you were Angela and wanted to be Angela? Do you think that you actually were closer to some of the other characters?
I feel like I was an Angela inside and out.
Oh.
Yeah, I really wanted things really deeply. I think we all did.
Did you
but
write in your diary about all your feelings?
And Jordan. Oh, are you kidding me? I mean,
well, we can go there. That's one of my questions.
That would have been the end of me.
Jordan Catalano.
Yeah.
Do you think that Jordan Catalano, Joanna and I have talked a lot about how Jordan Catalano like sort of was maybe the beginnings of forging who we were attracted to for the rest of our life?
Oh my God.
Just in terms of like he's kind of like a blank slate. He doesn't give you much.
Right.
Whether it's because he doesn't have much to give or whether it's
But that's very attractive.
Well, because you get to fill in the...
Oh, true.
Right. Like he's like, and that's what Angela does. She sort of like makes him... she makes him who she wants him to be more than anything else.
There was this guy that I dated in high school, and I remember that we were watching Shawshank Redemption, and he was very handsome.
Just a great date movie.
Yeah. And there's a scene where Tim, this is what happens when you turn 40. What's his last name? Well, okay, the lead guy. Married to Susan Sarandon. They got divorced. He's very tall.
Tim Minear?
No, Tim.
Tim Riggins.
Tim Riggins. Isn't that from
Friday Night Lights?
Wait. Okay, we'll come back to
Tim
that.
Robbins.
Tim Robbins.
Tim Robbins? I was just going to say
Robbins.
famous Tims until I got
Tim
it.
Robbins. And I forgot what I was talking about. Okay, so Tim Robbins puts on this opera, this something from an opera, and is playing over the loudspeakers. Remember this?
I don't remember anything. I'm a goldfish. I mean, I remember like the general premise of Shawshank Redemption, and that's it.
Well, it's like this one beautiful moment where everybody gets to hear this. He puts it over the loudspeaker, breaks into the head of the, everybody hears this beautiful music, and it's something that, no, everyone's just frozen in their tracks in this moment of wonder, and then the warden comes in and turns it off. And so it's just one of my favorite moments of the movie, and I was watching this with this guy, making out or whatever. I was like, you have to watch this part. And then after the scene, he said, what language is opera in? Operish?
Stop. Like he was serious?
He was serious.
Wow.
Yeah. And that reminded me of Jordan Catalano. He's so cute.
Was he like very attractive and also didn't give you much to go to work with?
But that gave me enough to work with that I was like, well, I think I need to. And I said, no, it can be in any language. was like, oh, okay. Opera-ish.
Wow, opera-ish.
Yeah, but you know what? He just was never exposed to.
I was
to
gonna
it.
say I would judge him, but it's that story is very familiar to me. It reminds me of the story that you always tell about me when we were in college, when I asked if we were studying theater and.
Oh, you can't. Well,
but it's the same. I mean, like maybe it sounds like he said it and meant it.
Yeah.
And I said it, and the minute I said
I'll
what
tell
I
the story.
said,
I'll tell the story. We were in theater. What was it?
History of Theater.
We were listening to a recreation of a chant. Yes, some Greek chant. And Kristin raises her hand and asks if it was an original recording.
But I like the minute I said it, I was like, skirt.
But remember, our teacher just looked at you like, I'll let you think about that.
Right, and I have this like image in my head of like a tape recorder with stones as like the buttons, because it was like immediately what I you know what I mean? Like I realized it, like happen? Yeah.
That's true. That's true. I take back my I am very judgmental of Jordan Catalano, and maybe that's something I have to look into.
You weren't though.
I thought he was really you're right. I thought he was really handsome and mysterious, interesting, yeah.
So okay, so let's talk about My So-Called Life for a second. Like the 1994-1995 Ingrid Michaelson watching this show. You watched it when it was on TV, like I did.
Yeah.
Do you remember? Like, did you watch it with your family?
No.
Did you watch it by yourself? Like, what was
myself?
And did you have like friends who were watching it? Do you remember your viewing experience?
I don't think it was as. It was not a group activity. I just remember I feel like it wasn't really well
like advertised. Well, that was like I think that was like a big complaint around the show.
But I watched it on TV, and I don't really remember if many other of my friends did.
Yeah. I don't remember.
I have the DVDs as well. So somewhere along the lines, I got the DVDs. And I remember my mom had this really like it was not a night shirt, but it was not a nightgown. It was plaid.
Oh.
And it was long, like knee length. And I would wear that. And it had like buttons on the top, but then it was like a gown, I guess.
Yeah, like a nightgown.
But it wasn't that long, and I would wear it with my jeans. And I actually was just watching a Christmas tape of my family growing up and from 1994 and 95, and I'm wearing it. I'm wearing it with these really baggy sweatpants.
So it was
and
your
I look
mom's
so good.
Nightgown.
Yeah, but I made it into a really baggy plaid shirt because that show made me want to wear plaid all the time.
Well, yeah, and so I don't think you know this, but we do a segment on the podcast called Best Use of Flannel. We have a jingle and everything. And so I asked you before I came over if you remembered any flannel from the show, which we're very liberal with our use of the word flannel. It doesn't have to actually be flannel. It can be plaid of any kind. Okay. And you mentioned the dress.
Well, that's the one I remember the most because it's in the pilot and it's.
Yeah, well, it's not only so something that we learned about the show is that the main characters had their own closets on set.
Oh.
So they would pick out their clothes would always come from the same closet. So that dress that you're thinking of is not just in the pilot.
She wears it again.
She wears it like 8 times in 19 episodes.
Cool.
So you remembering it is not just because it's in the credits.
I remember I got these plaid tights.
Ooh.
From Urban Outfitters.
God, Urban Outfitters was around in 1994?
Yes, but it was there was just the one on Broadway and like around 8th Street in the city.
Ingrid grew up in the
Staten
city,
Island.
Staten Island. So.
And I remember I bought, and I just wanted plaid everything, and I had plaid tights, and I got a plaid lipstick case that snapped open from Urban Outfitters, and you'd open up, there was the little mirror, and you would take out your Toast of New York. I don't know if you remember that color. It was like brown. It was a hideous brown color. But I just remember just wanting everything plaid.
This is great. This is like archaeological work we're doing here because we know like a lot of people who watched the show who are listening to the podcast are our age. But if you weren't our age, you are learning here by listening to Ingrid talk.
I feel like I have to show you something.
That's perfect material for a podcast. Yes.
But then don't you have like an accompanying? Well, I don't have to get it.
Go get it.
All right,
go get
it. Let me just show you something. You can describe it. But we're right next to my storage room. These are my shoes. These are my shoes that I wore. Let's see.
These are
probably like 1994, 95, 96.
Oh my God.
You can't see
How
them.
do you have these? You just found them at your house?
No, I saved them because, well, I went through a bunch of stuff recently and took it just to like clear out my parents' basement. But I saved them because they were so iconic.
They really are. Okay, so I'm gonna make sure that Ingrid lets me take a picture of either the shoes or her with the shoes so that I can put them on social media. But to describe them to you, listener, they are Converse. They're low top Converse. They're very
dusty
faded
blue. No, that's the color though.
Oh, they were
navy.
dusty.
It was like a dusty blue.
And they are, of course, drawn upon.
Yes. Well, some of these are don't tell my parents, even though they're dead. But haha, those are all answers to tests.
Oh wow!
So we'd get
written around the soul,
before, like A, B.
Oh my God!
C.
It is literally. It says like
I know.
C-A.
It's so bad.
Oh my God! So I'm also the laces are multicolored dinosaurs. And like I feel like the detail that I like the most is that
the beads.
So, right, there's like this little it's like too big to be a ring and too small to be a bracelet string of beads around the like very bottom of the shoelace.
I honestly don't even know what that is.
But that's like the embodiment of what you thought cool was when you were a teen. It's like
Angela would wear these.
Oh, 100. Yeah, anybody in the show would wear those. Those are beautiful.
The smell is the same too.
Wow.
Yeah, and then I would write like, oh look, I love somebody, WV.
Imagine it was like, I love Jordan Catalano.
Oh man. There was a tic-tac-toe. There was a sticker. Oh, I remember this was highlighter and that was a sticker, but the sticker has since fallen off. I mean, these are so old.
Yeah, you have to keep them forever.
I will.
We'll memorialize them on the internet for sure, but you have to keep them forever.
What is even that? That's like some sort of like chemistry compound. Just a big cheater. Sorry, everyone.
I would wear jeans with holes in them. Actually, I am right now. And so I would write like if I
on your knee.
On my knee, and then I would slide the hole of my pants.
Brilliant.
Right? So smart.
Did you ever write on the inside on a little piece of paper and you would roll it up and put it around the pen?
No.
Like the ink holder.
Like
and it would be a clear.
Inside the
yes,
plastic?
if you had a clear pen. Remember those clear pens?
Oh my God. Yeah.
So you could look in if you wrote tiny enough and you could see. Like
it seems so obvious. You're like squinting.
One time I had my glasses case and I wrote all these. I took Russian. I had like all the like tiny little like definitions of what words meant. And I had it in my glasses case and I, aced the quiz obviously. And my mom found it. And she's like, what is this? And I blamed it on Lisa Quagliarello. Sorry, Lisa. She was kind of
all these years,
Rayannish.
Lisa. I hope you're listening.
Yeah, and I was like, it's Lisa. Lisa made me do it, and my mom believed me. That's like if I ever had kids, I would totally know what they were up to.
But what if maybe your mom just like maybe it was a battle she didn't want to. You know what I mean?
She wanted to believe that I was good.
Okay, so this episode, we're gonna talk more about.
Get back into my so-called life now. Let's bring it back.
Well, it's sort of yes and sort of no. This episode that we're taping, it airs sort of between our conversation around so-called angels and our conversation around resolutions. But resolutions, obviously, we're taping this just so the listener knows on New Year's Eve, rolling from 2019 into 2020, which is fucking crazy.
Yeah, I don't like it one bit.
So I have a couple of New Year's related questions for you.
Okay.
So when I was taking the train over here, I was like trying to think of what we were going to talk about. And one of the things was like, I want to talk about New Year's and New Year's resolutions. And I wonder if Ingrid remembers what she was doing. This is the New Year's that we watch in this episode is 1994 rolling into 1995. And while you think, do you already remember? I remember
1995 to 96.
All right, give us that. What were you doing?
James Villani and I were dating, and we were in I don't even know whose house it was, but we were in some house on like a beanbag somewhere, and we all counted down, and then we like made out hardcore.
Like you were with your friends. You were with peers. Yeah.
Yeah, and I haven't thought about that in a really long time. James Villani was on Hang Time. Was in a show called Hang Time. Hey, James, if you're listening. He broke my heart. He decided to, as we in Staten Island say, go with, which means French kiss, Urissa Ortiz, and broke up with me like a week before Valentine's Day.
Wow.
Yeah. But I remember, it was a quick relationship, I guess.
Yeah, because you had just gotten.
It was like Christmas time to Valentine's.
Yeah.
That was pretty big for me. But I don't remember what I was doing the year before. Probably just hanging out with my parents.
I remembered, and I as any of the people listening to my podcast of any kind know I have no memory for anything, but I fucking remember what I was doing New Year's Eve 94 to 95 because I was newly 15, right?
Right.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
So I remember the same
year as me.
I do. I remember 95 to 96 because I was 15. I'm pretty sure that I had just turned 15 and I smoked pot.
Oh.
And
for the first time?
It wasn't the first time I had smoked pot, but it was like the third time.
So you got high.
I got high for the first time. And I was outside with like 2 of my friends or 3 of my friends. And my body, I later learned that I was having anxiety attacks when I was high, but I was nowhere near understanding that at the time. But my body was so cold because I was in upstate New York. And my body like registered cold as numb. So I just remember being so fucking high and not being able to feel my body. And I was like a floating head. And by the time I got back, I was like in a full panic. I was crying.
Oh, yeah.
My friends had to like take care of me.
I had a similar experience the first time I got high.
Yeah, it was awful.
Yeah.
I was so
like
dedicated.
I still don't like it.
Me either, but I tried for years to like it.
Yeah. I remember one time smoking weed at your house when we were in our 20s, and then I was dating a guy in Harlem, and I got on the wrong train, and I was super, super high from your house.
In Queens?
Yeah. To Harlem, it was bad news.
That's a horrible commute to begin with.
Yeah. And then I walked like a super long way in Harlem by myself, super high. But I felt like I was going to die in the train. And I remember it was whatever weed you or Jeff had.
Yeah. Jeff was my former best friend. If you're listening, Jeff.
Hi. This is our shout out episode. Ours. I'm already on. I'm
okay.
full time now. You'll never get rid of me.
So that's New Year's 95, 96, whatever. Close enough. And we've already talked about the character that you identify with the most. But there's a few things that happen in this episode that I feel like are worthy of larger conversation. Like, for example, in this episode, Resolutions, Sharon is like, has sex with Kyle.
Yeah.
And she basically, like, her arc, and whatever, we might have different interpretations, so please say if you do. But my interpretation of Sharon in this episode is like, she's like, sex with Kyle is so fucking great when I don't have feelings for him. And she's having this conversation with Rayanne, and Rayanne's like, yeah, like, enjoy it, have fun, like, whatever. And Sharon's feeling conflicted or whatever. And this series in general, like, Sharon is really, her relationship to sex is fairly positive and fairly open. And the show, it's like a show about teenagers, but it's not like trying to teach the lesson of like, don't have sex. It very much like teaches the lesson, or doesn't teach a lesson, but it just states like you can be ready for sex or you might not be ready for sex, which is pretty powerful. So I wanted to know what you thought about that. And like, if you remember,
I loved that her sexuality is applauded, I guess. Because I feel like growing up, a lot of times we were slut shamed for anything, pretty much. But there was not even a hint of that. And it was, at the end she gets horny because he's talking about Brad Pitt, and she's like, see you at 7:30. I'm not condoning obviously using somebody for sex, but I do, she's young and she's exploring her sexuality and she's not stifling it. And I thought that was really interesting. I forgot about that part when I watched it back. I was like, that's really interesting that they're not, that they went in that direction. It was very forward thinking.
Yeah.
It wasn't for that time period.
Exactly.
I mean, the other shows we're watching were like, 90210 and everything was like,
oh my God,
so salacious. And
they really, 90210 set us all up for disappointing sex, I think.
Yeah. I mean, there were 27-year-olds, first of all.
Right.
But yeah, I felt like, I really liked it. I liked that moment where she was like, you know what, I'm just gonna, own my sexuality and own my, horniness, basically.
Yeah, I'm like, right. I don't think anybody's condoning, and no one is condoning using somebody for sex, but usually the story you see is like a guy using a girl for sex.
Yeah.
And so as much as no one should use anyone for sex, I think there's something like
And
powerful.
I like that she's kind of like buttoned up and,
right.
She's the goody and
right.
But yet she's that's the labels that everybody puts on everybody is not always it's not the case when you really look behind people's veils.
Yeah. Did you have like a healthy relationship to sex when you were in high school? Like, did you feel like in your house or in school or whatever, was it talked about openly? And
yeah, it's funny because I didn't sleep with anyone until I was in college. It was like my real boyfriend.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know why. I was actually trying to think about this the other day. I was like, is this something that I was like, I'm saving myself? I think I was just more nervous than anything else.
Mm-hmm.
So
that's very Angela.
Why I held back, because I wanted to. I'm sure.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I did everything else.
Right.
But my parents were both very open, and once I was in college and I did have a boyfriend and I was sleeping with him, they let me sleep in my room with him, and I was 18 years old.
Yeah.
Because they knew, and they were, as long as you're being safe, they were cool with it. Because they're not gonna control me.
Right. Well, but
they know that they're not gonna be able to control that.
What's interesting though, and I don't mean to like lay over stuff now looking back, but it's like, your memory of Sharon and of the whole conversation around sex in the show isn't like super vivid, but I do wonder like how much of that got into our psyches anyway. Like, because you haven't rewatched the whole series, so some of this is a little fuzzy for you, and I know that, but maybe 2, 3, 4 episodes ago, there's the episode where Jordan wants to have sex with Angela and he takes her to this house.
Right.
And she really learns through talking to Sharon that she isn't ready, and she like asserts that and makes that choice. And I feel like that, little thing could have also given you permission to like own that, to be like, I look up to this character. I think this character fucking rules, and like, she's not ready to have sex, I'm not ready to have sex. Yeah.
And then they show the other side of it where Sharon is completely comfortable. So everybody, you got to find your person, and you can emulate that. Yeah, I feel like probably, who knows? Because I definitely would watch, the 90210s of the world and be like, oh, yeah, that's too grown up for me. I can't handle that.
90210 is very intense. For those of you who didn't grow up in the 90s, it was like, I wasn't, the difference of your household and my household is I wasn't even allowed to watch 90210. Probably at this point, when I was 15, I was 16. But, when I was like 12, 13, and it was brand new. It
wasn't good for kids to watch.
No. So Resolutions is not like, it has some moments in it that are pretty big, which I think the one that you and I remember the most is the Brain tutoring Jordan, which is like fun, I think. I'm curious to know what you think. But like when I was watching it, I was like, this is so much fun because, to your point about like intelligence, it's like there are two different skill sets at play, and they both have something that they want to learn from the other person.
Right.
Brian, of course, desperately wanting to know how you possibly could ever get a girl's number.
My question is, did he get the number for Brian, or did he get the number for him? Like, did he just say, I want your number?
I think he got it for Brian.
That's what I think, but she didn't look up or anything.
Yeah, she's playing it cool.
She was playing it very cool.
Yeah, Brian was losing his shit.
No, that was very sweet. He's like, I can't. And then
they
discovered how Jordan can
imagine
help him.
Being a teenager and like being able to just text somebody. I would have dated so many more people, I think. Like that.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, I'm not saying that they would have dated me, but like I would have definitely like been bold. I think that you could be bolder sending a text than you can. Like, I was always like, I don't want to call somebody. Also, you have to call
there and talk to their parents.
Yes. Can I speak to Steve? Like,
yeah. But I think it allows for a lot more nefarious behavior as well.
It does. It does.
Like
but I just
kids, like young people sending nudes and stuff, all that,
Right. Sure. No, I'm not saying it's all good. I'm just saying like teenage Kristin.
Yeah, but I feel like that's the way things should be. You should have to go through these obstacles as a younger person. It shouldn't be so easy to get access to everything. I think that's the problem with the world right now, is that all these kids are being brought up and they didn't have to be patient,
right,
or didn't have to be worried about talking to the parent or the guardian of this person.
Sure.
I mean, like, that was part of like the hurdle, and that's part of what made it so much fun in the end, and now it's like,
yeah, but
so
now we're just the old bitches.
Yeah, but we lived through that.
Right, but what I'm saying is everybody
I had to call 1-800 movie line, whatever it was,
movie phone.
So that my boyfriend could call, and I could go. So I would listen to the movie that you want, and I would wait for him to call me on call waiting. So the phone wouldn't ring and my parents wouldn't hear it.
Oh my fucking God. Sorry, I want to make this really clear. You probably all understood it, but it took me a minute to piece it together. I
would set up a time for whoever it was. I had
call.
Many to call. I didn't have the problem that Brian had. To call, and like, call me at 11:30, and I'll call movie phone at 11:20. 8.
Unbelievable.
And then you'll beep in, and my parents
will not know that anyone's on the phone.
Except, of course, my parents are so fucking weird that they had one of those old telephones. You'd hold one part up to your mouth, one part up to your ear in their room, and it would click every time
like
you picked up another phone in the house. So there was a period of time where my parents would be like, we know you're on the phone. We could hear it click. So I would, when they were asleep, go into their room, unplug the old phone.
Oh my God.
It was but you see, we had to work for it. We had to work for it, people.
I'm sure that there are things that we don't know that are, you know what I mean? Like everybody's got their stories.
Yes, I know.
But yes, I agree with you. It's like, our parents were like, I walked uphill both ways to the store for
a candy bar. It was 5 cents.
Okay, so I know that would you say that your favorite episode of the series is So-Called Angels? Like, is that your...
Yeah, that's the one that really stuck. So I rewatched that one and Resolutions.
Which is important. They really go together.
Yeah, so I could have it fresh in my brain. And I remember I remember Juliana Hatfield there, and I remember the angel wings being part of it, but I didn't remember where it was. And it was to the end of the episode. I was like, well, I guess I made that up. And then very last second, and I showed Will, my boyfriend, we were on a plane yesterday. I was like, look at this last moment. And he was like, oh, that's really cool. It's just such a beautiful ending. And Patty's like, how'd you die?
Oof. I remember like that line being spoken for the first time. My whole body like went numb because I hadn't put it together.
I put it together either.
We were. I mean, listen. Maybe
Patty
I wouldn't
put it together pretty quickly.
Patty put it together a little too quickly.
I would have liked a little more sleuth work on her part. She seemed to really jump onto that ghost train pretty fast.
Yeah. But
also, she's not the kind of person that would believe in that stuff. She feels so like the whole thing. I know she was thrown. She was looking for her child but I feel like she could have, maybe had a few drinks in her or something.
I actually thought when I rewatched the episode, when they're at the police station, they pan to the wall of all the missing kids. And so I was like, oh, this is how Patty knew she was dead. It must say like missing and then like that, like, but it doesn't at all. It doesn't. It didn't. It's totally, Patty's just caught. She's in the moment. She's like, she's moved by the spirit, if you will.
Yeah. I just wanted a little more movement.
Yeah. Did you know the show's connection, not just So-Called Angels, but My So-Called Life in general? Did you know its connection to It's a Wonderful Life? That like there's all these parallels between the two. I just watched It's a Wonderful Life.
I know that movie very well.
Okay, good. Yeah, because I didn't. And people, since we've been doing the podcast, have brought it up. Like, so you know how when it ends the show, it's like light of the moon. So that's the song that he sings with what's her face in the beginning. Then they sing to each other.
Oh,
it's that song. And then he wears this very iconic shirt with a 3 on it in the movie. And
you mean the football? The football.
Yes,
thing.
the football. And Brian is always wearing a shirt with the big 3 on it. Oh. So there's all these nods, and So-Called Angels there's a lot of overlap, obviously, kind of with the angel getting her wings by doing a good.
Oh, so she didn't have her wings before then.
I mean, I think that's what it's supposed to imply, especially since Winnie Holtzman, I think, is a massive fan of It's a Wonderful Life. So I assume
I loved that episode. Yeah. That was so beautiful.
Did you? Cried. Me too, and I cried. Did you cry rewatching it?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I cried.
Yeah,
well, I probably didn't cry when I was younger.
Actually, you're probably right. I don't think I cried either.
I
sobbed this time.
I was like in the airport, like keep it together.
Did you have an understanding of like
poor Ricky?
Yeah, like did you? Because you and I have really different. I was upstate New York. I had really conservative parents, or like at least a conservative mom who sort of permeated my growing up. And also I was queer, though I didn't know it, but I was like it was in there somewhere at this point. So I just wonder like what your experience was as a high schooler. Were there kids that were out? Were you comfortable with like gay people? Did you understand Ricky and like his character when you watched it the first time?
I mean, understand, probably no, but my parents had gay friends, and there were people that were gay in our high school. One of my really close friends was bi. So it wasn't like a strange thing for me. Yeah. It wasn't an abnormal thing.
Yeah.
But I understood the world around these people and how they were viewed and treated, especially in, New York areas.
Yeah. I mean, this is
Staten Island was pretty conservative. Like,
right.
You know, there were definitely very conservative parts, but also very, very liberal parts. But yeah, I mean, I remember the teacher being gay.
Yeah, and that's this episode, and I didn't remember. So when I was rewatching it today before we had this conversation, I didn't remember that he was worried about.
I did, because in my mind, I'm afraid he gets fired, but I haven't watched. So no spoiler alerts, because I don't remember.
Yeah.
But I have this vague fear. Mm-hmm. So maybe it does happen that he gets caught and gets fired, but that might just be that he's worried.
Yeah.
I might just be remembering the worry. But now I want to know what happens, but I didn't want to.
I won't tell you what happens to keep it spoiler free, but I think it makes a lot of sense that like it's something that sticks out to you. I don't know how I missed that. Like, right. And I couldn't remember, you know, I remember that he was gay, that the teacher was gay. And I remember that he didn't take Ricky in right away. But really, it went over my head. Maybe the first couple times I watched it, definitely as a kid, it went over my head. Most of Ricky's journey, I felt very attached to it. And like, this is 95, the very beginning of 95. And Rent, the musical, came out in 96. And so like, I know that I was really like pushing boundaries with myself. Like I was fascinated and like championing gay people, but I didn't really understand, like, I mean, not that you can't champion gay people and be straight, but like definitely that was not what was happening for me.
Right.
And so I imagine that this was probably one of the first times that I like engaged with a character who was gay, and then like, you know, his teacher being gay. And then it was just
the shame that comes with the internal shame of how he's like, I can't take him in because I'll be fired. And it's like this horrible, I remember that like darkness about in my heart. I remember there being like a darkness to that.
And he like, what's interesting too is that he, in the previous episodes with Ricky, who he calls Enrique for the most part, his whole message is like, don't hate yourself. And so it's really poignant when his partner is like, don't basically tells him the same message. It's like he's kind of trying to play out what he wished he had been in high school through Ricky.
I loved the moment at the end where he's like, where Ricky comes to the door, he's like, it's just got too hard being alone.
Ugh.
And it's like, he doesn't know yet.
No, this is kind of the first time.
The teacher is right.
I mean, who knows?
And his teacher doesn't. I mean, I'm sure his teacher suspects, but he doesn't know.
Yeah, and I thought that was interesting in the episode too. Actually, it was that. So I don't know if you know this, but the guidance counselor is Winnie Holtzman, is the creator of the show. She plays this like that. She's like Rayanne's drug counselor. She's kind of like the school counselor. She appears here and there. So Winnie Holtzman was in this episode, Resolutions, also, and her character, or, you know, the guidance counselor is like, oh, I know a great place for you. It's called Pride House. And I was like, this is a little like Ricky has not come out to anyone verbally, certainly not his teachers.
That's what it meant.
Definitely. And so I just like, I mean, I thought it was like cool that they would want to make sure that he was like in a place like that, but it's also like kind of crossing some boundaries to assume that a kid is gay or comfortable with being gay. You know, like there was a lot there.
But they never said that it was that.
They didn't.
So
but yeah,
I definitely didn't. I'm sure as a kid didn't think, pride, gay pride, Pride House. Well, you know, who knows?
Yeah.
I don't know.
So one other thing that I wanted to talk to you about, this episode is, I guess they kind of are all big episodes for Patty and Graham, to be honest. And Joanna and I have had this experience of like, when we watched it, I could give two shits about what was happening in the Patty Graham storyline.
Oh, right, because they're old.
Right, but now they're
like
our age.
I know.
They are literally our age. And so I wondered if you had any experience there, like seeing, because in this episode for Patty and Graham Resolutions, we're getting sort of like this tension between Hallie and Graham, and Patty is like, you know, worried that he might be having an affair. And so I'm wondering if it feels different for you to watch it now than like as a kid.
I definitely feel interested, but not as consumed by their storyline as I am by the kids.
You're still,
I still feel like, I don't feel like that's my world, even though I am that age, but I feel more, you know, like the kids than I do like
which
the
is probably
adults.
what's really fucked up for Patty and Graham. They probably also feel, you know, it's like you never feel like the projection of that adult.
Yeah, Hallie's though, she's trouble.
Hallie is fucking.
And why doesn't Patty say anything?
What do you mean to Graham about what she thought?
Like her resolution is like, I'm going to be less suspicious, and I don't know. It just, I guess it just does show like the development is not there yet. Like, you know, if this were me, I would say to Will, hey, there's this person that I feel really uncomfortable with. Can you be transparent? Like, what's going on? But instead, it's like, I'm just going to be less jealous and less judgmental. And in the end, he's like, I got to tell you something, you know, that's been bothering me. I want to do this restaurant thing. And she's so happy. But I'm like, why are you so happy? He's still going to be doing it with her.
Yeah. Yeah, I think she just really, I think she really trusted that like him being like, I want to have this restaurant meant he wasn't having an affair.
I mean, clearly their story is less nuanced. I mean, I think
Patty and Graham. I don't know. It's funny because like you haven't rewatched the series, but it is and it isn't.
Or you're just. I don't feel like you're not meant to be as involved emotionally with them as you are with the kids.
That's true. Because
when they went to the police.
These are
the words that escape me now.
Police. When they went to the police
station.
Was
that Resolutions?
That was So-Called Angels.
And they told about I was like, what are you guys doing? Like, I just feel like they're kind of like, I feel like they're kind of written a little bit, they're
like a little looser than.
Yeah, like it's sort of like chunks of these emotions that they have, and then they cycle through them really fast. And whereas with the kids, it's like taffy pulling, and you know.
Yeah.
But with them, it's like we're getting through these like years, really kind of like this block. Although again, I haven't rewatched the series, but it seems less. I mean, obviously the stakes are higher for them with children and a marriage. Well, I guess. I mean,
it doesn't feel higher.
It does not. It does not.
It's like, but, that's the
thing.
Yeah.
If Jordan Catalano likes you or not, it's not as important as is Hallie, is my husband having an affair, obviously. But it, you know, it feels when you're a kid, that's what it feels like. But I think that's what the fun of the show is that it does bring you back to this, especially for us who grew up in that time period. It's just like a time capsule of our emotions and our clothes and the music we listen to. And so I think when I watch it, of course I still gravitate to that. You know, I'm not like, what's gonna happen with Patty and Graham? It's like, well, all right, fine, yeah, I'll watch it, and I sympathize, but I feel like they're also kind of like bumbling as parents sometimes. Like
Graham definitely struggles. Patty, I don't know. I mean, I have to say, like, I came out of the gate swinging like, oh, fucking Patty. But like watching it critically now this time through, and with Joanna, who's a big, like, really advocates for Patty. Like Patty is she's pretty great insofar as like moms go. She has her issues. She has her, you know, she judges. Like, I mean, So-Called Angels is a massive Patty episode. It's like when she really like cracks open and allows herself to see that like not just the like privileged kid across the street who she's known since he was 5 is like worthy of.
I liked that moment where he's like, it does make a difference, but why?
Yeah, Graham, right? I don't know, Graham like bringing it.
That's a little tidbit from Graham. There was a couple what do you call them? Like Three's Company moments in both these episodes, because the Three's Company thing is where you hear one thing and you think they're talking about something else.
Oh, that's a Three's Company moment. That makes sense.
All the time it happens.
Right.
So it happened in both episodes with Ricky.
Yeah,
you're overhearing the wrong part of the conversation.
Yeah,
like come on now.
I know, but he like, even if he had heard the right part of the conversation,
he's
it's
still
like
freaked out because they're talking about him.
Yeah, it's like, well,
but if he heard them saying, "Oh, he's so great," why I wish the girls were. I think, you know, but he just heard the wrong part.
But he also, I think there's 2 things going on for Ricky, actually. Like that is the thing that I saw, the only thing that I saw when I was younger and watching this. But watching it now, I think that and this is really incredible. I think that the show does this because I think that they also add the nuance in of like Ricky is out of place there. And like the disconnect, like Angela's there and she has this warm home with a fireplace and a mom and dad who are together and a little sister and like all this stuff. And it is warm and comforting. But I think that Ricky feels really,
it makes him feel lonelier, he said.
Right. He does say it directly. And it's like, Angela is so far. It's like Rayanne is not as far away from Ricky's experience as Angela. Angela is like the farthest away. But Ricky is all the way down here. A person of color, queer, gender nonconforming, like just, you know, at this point, homeless. And so I think that like him going to Mr. Katimsky at the end of this episode makes so much sense. Mr. Katimsky still has a fairly privileged life compared to Ricky. But he, I think, recognizes like some of the similar struggle. So I think even if he had heard a different thing, he probably still would have not been able to stay with Angela. Yeah.
I forget what happens with him. I'm going to turn a light on.
I know it's getting so dark in here.
Setting. The sun is setting on the final day.
The final sunset of 2019 is happening.
Sunset, people.
So we talked a bit about resolutions. We talked about characters.
Do you have resolutions?
I'm not a big resolution maker because I find them to be like too strict.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you know? That's how I feel.
Yeah, it's just
I don't
like
want to disappoint myself.
Yeah, one of my biggest like life issues is that I like ping pong back and forth between the two extremes of like I'm either really rigid with myself or I like am not rigid with myself at all. It's very like hard for me to maintain like a middle ground where like today I'm going to sleep in, but then I'll get up and go to the gym later. Like it's like all or nothing. Right. And that's what a resolution feels like to me is like, you know, that I'm going to force myself to once again choose like an all or nothing instead of just like being in a happy medium. So I don't really have a resolution, but I like, so today is New Year's Eve and I arrived, I'm at Ingrid's house right now and Will was like, so are you coming back later? You can spend New Year's Eve with us. And my friends Maddie and Rachel live down the street and they're like, if you want to come over and spend it with us, you can. And I sort of left my house like, I'm just going to like go and do this thing and then like see how I feel. And maybe I'm just going to go home and like take down my Christmas tree and like watch a thing. And so like, it's not a resolution, but that's like, it feels like a very important part of my 2020 of like, of being comfortable with the like me that I'm knowing as a single person and also like being comfortable to like leave my house without a plan and to like, you know, let the day carry me because I've been doing that more lately and it's been feeling pretty good. So. It's not a resolution, but it's attached. I do give meaning to the end of a year. And this is not just the end of the year, it's the end of a decade. It is crazy to think. And this is like a good way to sort of like wrap up the year and the decade and the episode. But it's like kind of powerful to think about especially this 10 years. Because this for both of us, it's been like essentially 30 to 40. Yeah. And that's a pretty massive decade. I mean, I started organizations, had a marriage, a divorce. I was pregnant. I had a miscarriage. Like all of these things happened in 10 years.
Let's see what happened to me. I got married. I got divorced. I lost my mother. I lost my father.
Yeah.
I met someone new. My niece was born. And then I was in a Broadway musical.
No
and
big
now
deal.
I'm writing a Broadway musical.
And now you're writing a Broadway musical.
Now I'm writing one.
Like when because usually at the end of the year you think about the year, but it's very powerful to think about the decade. And like, so I just finished watching 6 Feet Under, the series, and there's a scene in one of the episodes I watched recently where they talk about how time moves and like because he turns 40, Nate turns 40 like in season 5, and his dead dad is like the next 40 go way quicker than the first 40, and that's like how I feel because I'm like holy shit if I have a whole nother like when I think about turning 30 to turning 40 like that's such a far distance. But then it shrinks.
Because I well if you think about it when you're 10, half of your life was 5 years ago, so it feels longer than when you're 20,
like your half life.
Yeah, I do. I think it just you know, I was talking to my boyfriend's kid who is 20, almost 21, and they were saying that they were saying that theory about how they feel that their life is going faster now than it was when they were younger, and so I was like, just wait till you're I mean, maybe just wait till you're however old we get to be.
Right, it just keeps going.
It's pretty astounding, but things not to think about late at night.
If we ever start a podcast together, Ingrid, that's the title of it. Things
and I have a lot of them.
Think about late at night.
But I remember when I was in college, I was freaking out about getting older And I kept thinking, well, as long as I'm in college, because people still say college kid. You're a college kid.
Yeah.
And then once I graduated college, I was like, I can't hold on to kid anymore.
God, for me, it was my 27th birthday because it was the first birthday I had where I was like, oh, it's my birthday or whatever. And people would be like, oh, how old are you turning? And I'd say 27. And they wouldn't say, you're so young. And it really hit me. I was like, oh, wait, why isn't nobody saying that I'm young anymore?
I remember when I was 27 and I was on the road and I was touring somewhere and these teenage girls came up to me and they were like, how old are you? And I said 27, and they looked at me like I was ancient. And I remember thinking 27, but when you're 14, 27 is.
Did I told you the horrifying Joanna math that happened at the beginning of this podcast? Did I tell you this?
Maybe.
Basically, she was like, just so you know, when you talk to a teenager now about 1994, it feels the same to us as when we were teenagers and people were talking about the 60s.
Oh, no.
Which is, it like rocked my fucking world. Because I loved like the Beatles and Janis Joplin and Woodstock and like it felt like 100 millennia before. And that is the same measure of time that exists between you and I and my so-called life being on the air.
Kristin, we're not old. Just trying to end it on a positive note.
I'm sorry to break it to you, but
oh my gosh.
Thank you for talking to me about my so-called life.
Thanks for kicking me off the podcast.
You're anytime.
Hey, Michael.
Hey, Tom.
Okay, so you want to tell him, or you want me to tell him?
No. I got this. People out there.
Yeah.
People, lean in. Get close. Listen, here's the deal.
We got big news.
We got monumental news. We got snacktacular news.
Yeah, after a brief hiatus, my good friend Michael Ian Black and I are coming back.
My good friend Tom Cavanaugh and I are coming back to do what we do best.
What we were put on this earth to do.
To pick a snack.
To eat a snack.
And to rate a snack.
Scientifically.
Emotionally.
Spiritually.
Mates is back.
Mike and Tom Eat Snacks is back.
A podcast for anyone with a mouth.
With a mouth. Available wherever you get your podcasts.
From the darkest corners of our imagination comes a game show that's more ridiculous than terrifying. Welcome to Tickled to Death, the horror comedy game show where nothing is sacred, everything's a little unhinged, and the only thing more cursed than the questions are the jokes. I'm Roz Hernandez, your fearless host, and each week I'll be leading a brave group of guests through twisted horror trivia, improv games, and enough sarcastic banter to make you question all your life's choices. So come for the screams, stay for the snark. Listen to Tickled to Death wherever you get your podcasts, and hit follow unless you want the show to follow you. In the meantime, don't get tickled to death.